Who's the real victim? Hint, it's not the narcissist. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, and in this video, I'm going to let you know how to tell who the real victim was after the relationship with the narcissist ends. Narcissists project their abusive behavior onto their victim, and this doesn't stop once the relationship is over. In fact, it amps up. The narcissist plays the part of being hurt and wounded if the victim leaves them. Now, if they leave the victim, the narcissist has already planned this, and they have a smear campaign against the victim already in place. They will tell others that they tried everything to save the relationship, but they were unable to do so because their spouse or their partner was crazy, bipolar, they had addiction issues, etc. They just couldn't take it anymore. Of course, if the victim speaks up, they may be saying these same things about the narcissist. So who is telling the truth? Who's really the victim here? The victim, who may or may not have been the one who initiated the discard, is devastated. They're more than likely still trauma bonded, even if they were the one who left. They're mourning the loss of the relationship, and they're mourning the loss of who they believed the narcissist to be. They're not jumping into a new relationship right away, unless they are codependent, and that is a topic for another video. Typically, the victim isolates themselves, or they just interact with a small number of trusted friends and family. The victim has become a survivor, and they are focused on their healing and their recovery. They have no interest in dating someone new. Oh my God, not at this time. They're likely to seek counseling or therapy, which I highly recommend. They just want to feel whole again and happy again. The narcissist, on the other hand, already has a new supply secured as a replacement. And the new supply is almost never new. They were already on the back burner as a side piece. The narcissist will claim to be devastated by the loss of their spouse or their partner if the spouse or partner left them. And this is done to elicit sympathy from the new supply and the flying monkeys. Even if the narcissist was the one who did the leaving, they may still claim to be the wounded one. And again, they do this to gain sympathy, to gain supply. The narcissist does not take the time to self-reflect. They can't self-reflect. They do not take any accountability for the demise of the relationship. They are also unable to be alone, which is one of the reasons all of their relationships overlap one another. So they tell the new supply all the things they told you when you were being love bombed. And the new supply eats this up, just like you once did. Hook, line, and sinker. And during this time, they're telling the new supply all about you and how horrible you are, and the new supply is buying into all of this. Therefore, if and when the victim decides to expose the narcissist, and the narcissist already fears this may happen, the new supply believes the victim is just a mean, vindictive person, and they may also believe the victim wants the narcissist back. Please don't want the narcissist back. So to the outside world, it can appear to be a case of he said, she said. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I escaped the narcissist and immediately went no contact. Very few people knew of my plans to escape, and many of my friends and family didn't even know I had left. I stayed quiet. I stayed off of all social media for over 6 months from the time I filed for divorce. During this time, I didn't take down any pictures of my ex-narc. I didn't change my last name on social media, and I didn't change my relationship status because my intention was to quietly leave. My divorce was finalized approximately 6 weeks after I served him with divorce papers. Yeah, it was that fast, you guys. And I settled for way less than I was entitled to. And I did that because I just wanted it over. So at first, I was relieved that the divorce process had been so quick. I thought, oh my God, how lucky did I get? However, when arrangements were made for me to retrieve my belongings, I discovered he had destroyed what I cherished the most. I did a video on that, and I have dropped the links to those videos in the description box below. My ex began his smear campaign against me well in advance of me serving him with divorce papers, and he continues to do so. Now, he is a covert narcissist, so he doesn't come at me publicly, thus far anyway, as far as I know. I haven't seen it. He plays the wounded victim who was duped by me, who was conned by me, when it was actually the other way around. Remember, the narcissist projects their abusive behavior onto others. But how do you know from the outside looking in who's the abuser and who's really the victim? Here's how. The narcissist is immediately in love with the new supply, who is their soulmate and the love of their life. The victim remains single, at least for a period of time while they heal. The victim can often back up what they're saying with supporting evidence. The narcissist cannot. The victim is focused on their own healing. The narcissist is distracting themselves with the new supply. The victim who chooses to speak up does so with the intention of helping others and exposing the narcissist for who they are, because they don't want others to experience what they experienced. The narcissist, meanwhile, is running a vindictive smear campaign filled with lies and half-truths, and their intention is to cause further harm to the victim, even though the relationship has ended. They will tell others that the victim is vindictive and or unable to move on in their life if the victim exposes them. Now, if you've been following this channel, you already know why I publicly exposed my narc ex-husband. And if this is your first time here and you're wondering why I exposed him publicly, that perhaps I may be the vindictive one, please watch Exposing the Narcissist Part 1 and 2. Those videos explain everything with supporting evidence, and the links are in the description box. Narcissists, especially the covert ones, can hide their abusive behavior for weeks, months, even years. My ex-husband never screamed and yelled at me until after we were married. He had me then, right? And we had been living together for 2 years prior to the marriage. In hindsight, which is always 20/20, I now see all the red flags that occurred prior to marrying him. The biggest red flag that I completely ignored at the time came from his ex-girlfriend, who told me that he was, quote, controlling and demanding, and that he was a narcissist. Of course, I wasn't experiencing controlling or demanding behavior from him, and I didn't understand narcissism at the time. He had told me that she was crazy and bipolar, and his narrative seemed to fit since her communications towards me were so angry and so nasty. I believed him. I later realized what I was seeing from his ex-girlfriend is known as reactive abuse, which occurs when the victim has been so wounded and has had enough, and they strike back with anger and fury, which unfortunately feeds right into the narcissist story about the victim. I wish I had listened to her. If I had, I wouldn't have wasted 7 years on this clown. But I can't go back in time. I can only move forward. I wanted to turn lemons into lemonade, so to speak. So I created this channel to offer support for others who have survived a narcissist and for those still with a narcissist. I share my personal experiences to let others know they're not alone. It's healing and it's empowering for survivors to just have a safe place to speak their truth, to share their stories, to be validated, to not be blamed and shamed for not leaving the relationship sooner, for someone to simply understand. And for those survivors still in the relationship with a narcissist, you will never be shamed or blamed by me, and any comments that are victim blaming are promptly removed. Victims stay for many reasons, which can include having children together, financial situations, and on and on. The last thing that they need is to be further abused by others blaming them, especially by people who have never walked a mile in their shoes. Thank you all for taking the time to watch. Please click the subscribe button if you're finding this content helpful, and please share it with others. Thank you all again, and may your day be abundantly blessed.